dulu people talk about sequencing, kena buat yang ni dulu, kena buat yang ni dulu. Unlike the the circuit that Sri Wong might remember from your uni days, I don't know. I mean, I never remember my training as electronic or electrical engineers, but I do remember, there's always this whether you go for series or parallel. You can design your circuit whether it's in series or in parallel. You don't training institutions to be agile to meet the demand of the industry. We can do both together. That's why the reason I sit and I chair Pemuda and all this every month without fail is because it's very important in the next 6 months to start the, to make the first step towards a demand-driven workforce, to go hand in hand with a supply-driven workforce. And I believe in it because that's exactly my experience when I was out of politics and running my own startups. It no longer works waiting for the university or leaving that responsibility exclusively to the university. In fact, I think more and more employers nowadays understand that, and I said this to people I interview at work, is that your degree is just a certification that you have a brain, nothing more and nothing less than that. Industry actually have to train them from scratch, and the industry that thrives is the industry that is able to put together a funnel of upskilling and training, and you also have to make sure that your funnel is robust enough to accept that the attrition is much higher nowadays. The cycle that people move from one job to another is much faster. It's a different generation. People don't sign up for a job for life or for a company for life. They will go move on from one to another. So the choice of the country and also employers like you, whether we continuously complain about it or we build within our work stream to make sure that the training, the onboarding is very efficient, that for each 2 or 3 people who leave, although you have trained them well, there will be another 5 or 6 who will come and can perform the job even better within the same amount of time. And that's the whole idea of academy in industry. It is about building a parallel stream of workforce training and upskilling to make sure that our workforce, all the way from school leavers to eventually degree holders, have a choice to choose. Do I go to institution and get certified, or do I go and straight away join the industry and learn and get certified part and parcel? And that relates to me very well because that's also my stream in my career. I graduated as electronic and electrical engineer, but my first job was as an accountant and auditor. On my first day, I know nothing about debit or credit whatsoever. And my first day, well, after the first week of induction in the firm, you got sent straight away to a big audit. And you will be talking and getting information from the finance director, who was 20, 30 years your senior, and who had been a fellow of the Chartered Accounting Institute. He knew that you know nothing. And more often than not, you get bullied along the way. I spent the first 6 months basically learning from the work environment and the assignment and on-the-job training, although I didn't have this full concept about what finance or accounting or auditing was all about. Only after the first 6 months then I went to college for one week, just to cram everything, and those syllabus that university covered in about 1 year could be crammed to just 1 week. But the British felt that's the best way to train accountants, because by the time we went to college for our so-called official syllabus, it made a lot of actually memory and things are so much easier. At the same time, I run my startup. I realized software engineering and data scientists were talents. They join you to the next one is graduates who just had about 1 year or 2 years experience as software engineer, but demanded 12,000 ringgit. And I knew they didn't know much. It's just that, you had a dagger put to your neck, you needed them. If you don't take them, that position continues to be vacant and it affects the business. So do you take them or not? Over that 2-year period, I realized as well that basically those trained through the formal certification there's a big difference between people who have education, certification, they are not there where the economy is getting. Is how we allow such talents and skill so that they can learn. The whole essence of will and what you are doing with them, because it's important nationally, and I don't want this to be just a lip service, or I don't want this melepaskan batuk di tangga, because as I say, we stake, we put our neck for it, because the whole government and the country is waiting whether out of this pilot test we can scale it out to the national level. And once we are able to do it successfully for the school leavers, then we can move to the diploma and to the degree holders as well. That opens up the room for more collaboration and alignment with the higher education learning institutes, so that they can start looking if there are takers for this, they can allow people to take 1 or 2 years of their degree to go and work in industry and come back. But if you were to talk about conceptual framework forever without actually doing it first, we will have to wait another 15 years. Because you don't win an argument conceptually. You win an argument because it has been done and the pilot proved to be successful. And with a proof of concept, then it's a lot easier to push through a reform, not just of the workforce, but also a reform of other ecosystem in our labor market. So I'm willing to consider, in fact, we set aside budget for this. It's quite obvious. Otherwise, MPC will be here. We set aside a budget. And we want to see with the budget, of course, I'll go through the dollars and cents. The good thing of having someone from private sector like me, I do pay attention to balance sheet and profit and loss. So we will go through the dollars and cents. But I understand that government has to invest. And putting money, working with strategic partners to build this academic industry is just another way of investing in our future workforce, much in the same way of building colleges. But you want to make sure that with the right intention in the right place, it will form a major reform of our workforce and part and parcels of the labour market reforms that we are looking at. I've given my commitment to MPC and my ministry that if you need me to sit down with any other agencies to expedite this, for example, to see how we can simplify the certification process, I'll be willing to do it. If the last time kita duduk going through scaling up of academy in industry, I think about 1 week ago, we went through quite, late at night, beyond the normal hours, quite obvious. So if I have to sit down with more agencies just to get their commitment that we will shorten and simplify the certification process, we will, because it's important to get it done properly. So I will go through the details, the dollars and cents, the detail, the progress. The good news is you get all the support. The bad news is that time is not on our side. So we have to get these students employed and placed very quickly. And it's just the right time because SPM was just announced. So we need to capture that crowd. And hopefully in the next 2 months, we see early fruits of this initiative. And then that will allow me to go back to the government to scale it up nationally. We have our work cut out for MPC and my ministry and the Secretariat. The challenge is to get 200 employers ready for certificate or certified by mid-August, because we can't scale up if we don't have enough employers certified to be part of this program. And once we are able to do that, I have no doubt that we will get the stream of school leavers wanting to join this. Jadi, with that, I think that's quite clear. I don't usually go with a speech text prepared. It's quite direct. Time is of the essence, and 2 months will fly very quickly. Then after this, we'll focus on recruiting and getting the school leavers to start the training with your companies and institutions. And I wish you very best, because otherwise we will have a problem in terms of justifying the kind of money I'm asking. So, we do, of course, within government system, we have to fight for the budget. We do state a claim that academy and industry is a flagship labour market reform. It's important, and government must allocate the right budget for it, but it pretty much depends on how successful we are with the first 10 pilot strategic partners. So thank you very much. You're doing a good national service, and most probably you will not see the immediate fruits of that good intention in the next 5-6 months. But I hope you take comfort that if it works out well, it forms the basis for perhaps the biggest attempt to pivot our workforce training from the age-old supply-driven, getting closer to the demand-driven that we do. With that, thank you very much, and we all will be signing that little dots after this. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih Yang Berhormat. Marilah kita saksikan tayangan montaj Akademi in Industry.
Lonjakan produktiviti merupakan bidang keutamaan dalam hala tuju Rancangan Malaysia ke-12. Dengan berpandukan Malaysia Productivity Blueprint, kadar sasaran pertumbuhan produktiviti 3.6% setahun telah pun ditetapkan untuk tempoh Rancangan Malaysia ke-12. Tujuannya ialah untuk mengenal pasti pembangunan produktiviti insan masa hadapan. Oleh itu, hasil kerjasama Kementerian Ekonomi, Pemuda, Kementerian Pelaburan, Perdagangan dan Industri (MIKI) menerusi Perbadanan Produktiviti Malaysia (MPC) telah mewujudkan inisiatif Akademi in Industry. Akademi in Industry merupakan kerjasama inovatif antara kerajaan, industri dan akademia. Inisiatif Akademi in Industry dapat melatih tenaga kerja masa hadapan yang mampan berasaskan permintaan, pasaran dan keperluan industri. Secara tidak langsung, perantis Akademi in Industry dapat menjana pendapatan yang lumayan dan memperoleh sijil kemahiran yang diiktiraf oleh kerajaan. Akademi in Industry mempunyai lebih daripada 700 rakan strategi yang dapat menjayakan inisiatif ini. Untuk maklumat lanjut, anda boleh terus ke laman sesawang MPC.
Majlis seterusnya ingin menjemput Yang Berhormat Tuan Muhammad Rafizi bin Ramli, Menteri